Previously in the Re-Monster, the war with humans was getting intense and humans kept losing every battle because of Goburou, so they sent out one of their heroes to deal with him, but even he got beaten up, so Hero chose to run out before he becomes a food for Goburou. Then Goburou gave the elf medicine to the commander of the next human army unit because he was the next emperor, and if he dies, the human empire would do anything to destroy the elf village, so humans got elf medicine, and with it, the bloody war finally comes to an end, but thanks to that many goblins gained experience to evolve. Seiji evolved and gained a new skill to create shields, and meanwhile Hobfu evolved into a ghoul and she keeps eating dead meat. Then there were many others who evolved alongside them, and most of all even kobolds evolved, but the leader of kobolds evolved into a warrior kobolds and he got a true name on evolution. But telling someone's true name is like committing suicide, because if someone knows that, that person could curse him using just his name, but he did it to prove his loyalty. After that, the problem was with the war prisoners. So Goburou tells them to go back home, or if they don't have one, they could join his provisional team, but these three from the provisional team were unhappy because they were treated even lower than goblins, so they challenged their leader thinking they could win and control everything, but they started laughing that Goburou was their leader. They were underestimating Goburou because he was an ogre, so the fight began, and the red and green hair had strong magic weapons, but even so, Goburou did a number on all of them and defeated their entire group, but one of them was hitting on Dami. But she's Goburou's girlfriend, so Goburou was pissed, but Dami stopped him before he kills him. Then after that, Goburou started to experiment using his new skill synthesis to assimilate and create new skills to weaken his disadvantages against Sun for his dead army, but it backfired, so he took a bit of rest with his girlfriends for that day. Then the next day while he was out for a walk, he came across that dryad again. It's been a long time, so she directly started the action. After that, she had given him some magic seeds, so Goburou and others planted those to grow in their new farm. Then he released the war prisoners as the human army were retreating back to the kingdom, and now that the war is officially over, Goburou made a centipede car to take his human girlfriends back to human town. All of them thought Goburou was kicking them out, but Goburou had promised them he would take them back when they had first met. So Goburou made other 4 teams of goblin villagers so that they could experience the outside world and learn something from it, and with it, the time came for them to part ways for the time being. Goburou was taking his girlfriends to where they were originally headed to before they were kidnapped by hobgoblins. And that town was Garrison City that has more demi-humans, but everyone got scared the moment they saw Goburou. But his twin girlfriends came in handy because they were merchants and they explained everything to gain entry into the town. There they stopped at the hotel and Goburou told them to live here for the time and decide whether they want to stay here or with him. After that, red hair took him to the guild and the scene was the same here as well, so he made them faint and registered as an adventurer. After which he changes his avatar to how he looked in his previous life to roam around freely, but everyone were talking about the monster that entered the town, but Goburou didn't care for the gossip, and then some thugs surrounded him, so the usual thing happened, and Goburou ate them to get their skill. These guys seemed to be a part of an organization, and then Goburou heard a kid was being pushed to a corner. Those thugs were demanding money for the girl's release, so Kid had enough and tried to fight back, but Goburou had to step in because he was a kid. He attached his clone to them as they were unconscious, and told the kid to contact him if he's in trouble and can't speak to the public for help. For the trust, Goburou showed him he's an ogre, and later at night, he comes asking for help because Princess was the one who was kidnapped. No one knew that she was here, and she took the opportunity to flee and got herself kidnapped. But Goburou had already discovered their hideout and saved the princess, but a document lying there shows it was all planned, so Goburou asked the kid to keep it a secret, but he had to report this to the king. So Gekken came in and hypnotized Blondie so that he wouldn't speak this matter to anyone, and then the next day was the decision day, and all the girls were ready with their stuff to leave as they chose to stay with Goburou. But then, while they were leaving, Princess came to meet Goburou after hearing about him. She was Princess Rubilia, daughter of the first queen of Sturbert Kingdom, and she wants Goburou to escort her to capital, but she already has tons of bodyguard, but Ruby thinks they are boring. Goburou knew this behavior caused the last night incident, so he lectures her, but she was even more happy at that time. So Blondie said he would reward him with 1 gold plate if he accepts the mission. 1 gold plate is equal to 1 million gold coins, so his girlfriends pressures him to accept it, and Goburou can't go up against them, so he took the job, but at the time of leaving, Ruby left without saying anything to her guards, so Goburou took the troublemaker to escort her back quickly, but on their way, they came around a mountain way. There was a short cut around this way, but it was way too dangerous because it was filled with Felia's eagle. They are the strongest race around here with poison and other sort of powers, and their king, the Jade Eagle, is even worse. He has blessings power, so everyone wanted to avoid it, but this is the thing that gets Goburou excited, so he took that way from the shortcut to run into this eagle. He kept catching them all to eat, and in the way they saw the skeletons who tried to pass through. Here the Jade Eagle showed up and Goburou ordered everyone to stay in the carriage, but Fukin thought they should have a plan B if Goburou dies, but Dami said she would rather die here with Goburou than return back. The fighting noise was silenced, so they came out and saw Goburou was on the losing end, but then he ate his arm and grew it back, after which he came into his peak and killed the Jade Eagle, from which they got a spirit stone worth the price of a small country. So Goburou kept it rather than eating and continued his journey to the capital. And that is how our episode 8 and 9 comes to an end, but if you haven't seen the previous episodes of the series, then the playlist link is in the description. Please watch all the episodes to understand the story, so until then, take care.